So this is just essentially a 7-day sprint was used to build this little demo. So it really is just a demo of an idea that I'm kind of curious if it's just like interesting at all. So the name is called DAO The Game, and it's essentially a management / tycoon simulation for building autonomous organizations on chain. So it's mainly for, like, most people are familiar with Zoo Tycoon or Roller Coaster Tycoon. There's like Farmer Simulator. Like it's basically for people who like that kind of stuff, maybe even like Factorio, that kind of stuff. People who like systems simulation kind of games. But the idea here would be to eventually, if it's interesting, have a game built around starting with a very small little organization or DAO that you're building through just a org chart and a web of autonomous workers that actually outputs real stuff. And the goal is to just get that built out bigger and bigger and bigger with higher and higher quality stuff being pumped out of it. So the demo is at DAOthegame.com. If people want to mess around with it, it's here. It should be pretty quick. It's also very on Rails, just to like give it as clear as possible what like the feel might be. So we start out with this Navi type character, Murmur, who you're messaging with. So I'll just kind of go through it. I get a message prompting me to join in on an activity. I'm not feeling it. All right. Murmur will bother me later. Okay, just got an email from Lena, event director. Oh boy, Lena is frantic right now. She needs something made ASAP, a new website for her crumbling brand around her Web3 event. She's offering 15 grand. I just have to make it in 48 hours. Okay. Oh, another message from Murmur. Let's go back to this. It's just reminding me to install the game ahead of time. I'm going to let them know that I got this weird email. Probably a phishing email, but who knows? So I'm mentioning that it's 15 grand to redo their site. They most likely sent it to the wrong email. Murmur's excited by the amount of money and says, take the job anyway. We can take the part where I'm actually a real studio. Seems like a bad idea. I'm down to go. I have no idea where to start, though. Murmur somehow gets access to the root of my phone and installs a whiteboard app. So I'm going to click the notification where the whiteboard app is telling me to get started. And I've got this little whiteboard here. I'm going to name my studio. What do I name it? I'll name it ECwireless Co. Save the studio there. And I'll go ahead and start building out my org tree. Under the hood, this is, doesn't matter too much, but this is Hat's protocol, if people know what that is. So this is individual like Hat NFTs that I am creating here. So I'm going to go ahead and create this role. And I've got this pre-filled kind of description here, but outside of a demo, this is where I actually create the role. So I'm going to create just a single web developer role. He's going to report to ECwireless Co, or basically me. Scope is build the site. All right, cool. I've created my first role. Murmur is wondering if I'm done whiteboarding. Yes, I'm done, but I can't code. Can you just do this for me, Murmur? Murmur says absolutely not. Wants to stay out of this directly for whatever mysterious reason. But he points me to this server of people that I can hire. All right, I got this server that he linked me to. Looks like a hiring board channel on the server. Okay, looks like it's a Raid Guild server. We've got a few Raid Guild people here that are messaging. I'm going to go ahead and post the job. This is the web developer brief. I've got a little description, little points of things that need to be focused on. It looks like this Rune Mercer, Test Travail, they've responded saying that they're available. All right, that's cool. Let's pipe this into our whiteboard. And under the hood, also these fake rig guild workers are actually just agents that are specialized in particular things. So they all have little stats and price tags also involved. So you can pick out what kind of skill sets you want, how skilled they should be, and balance that with how much you want to pay for these things. And they also have like the 8004 standard attached to them so that their reputation can kind of build over time. I'm going to go ahead. This person has the best stats, good speed too. All right. It looks like a machine companion app was just installed. So let's go over to this machine. And it looks like this is like an assembly line that works through all of my, that pipes through all of my workers, my rig guild workers. I'm going to go ahead and work through this assembly line. All right. It outputted something. All right, here is my site. Let's open that up. Okay. It's something. Not too great. But yeah, let's go ahead and submit that to the client. All right, sent that over. New notification from Lena here. Oh boy. She is not happy with this. Okay. Murmur is wondering how it's going. Yeah, client hates it. I have no idea what to do. Okay, my graph is starving. Add a designer, reviewer, same machine, better wiring. Murmur says, okay, let's get back to the whiteboard. Add another node before this web developer role, and let's make a designer role. And it looks like I can add a node also here. This would be a good spot for a QA reviewer. Okay, and let's get back to the Raid Guild server. And I'll first post the designer role brief, see a response to that. Okay, got 2 quick responses, that's cool. And I'll post the QA reviewer brief, and I got 2 others responding to that. All right, cool. Let's pipe that into the board. So for my designer, let's add, this person has good stats. I'll add Hexa. And for QA reviewer, let's add Dorian. All right, let's pipe this through. Here it's going through the agents, and then it's using Pinata at the very end to deploy this as a CID on IPFS. And all right, let's see this new. Wow, this is so much better! Holy cow, incredible! All right, let's submit this. All right, Lena says, "Wow, this is exactly what we need at ECwireless Co." She's super happy, and she's wiring over the 15K ASAP. All right, cool. Now that I got through the tutorial, let's see what other interesting challenge comes in next. But that's the end of the demo.
That's awesome, man. So this is like mainly a tutorial demo on Rails to show how this game will kind of look in the future.
Yeah, just to kind of like illustrate an idea, see if it's interesting at all. Like if you could just have this, if you put this app in front of someone, and like this game in front of someone, and even if it's not someone who's like totally familiar with Web3, could it end up being kind of enjoyable that they just like had an actual site get deployed through like playing with this, and then they get another challenge and they have to mess around with the new configuration of Raid Guild workers, or whatever it ends up getting, whatever the agents end up getting called. Raid Guild workers is what I used with this demo. But just like kind of playing with like, is that kind of a fun idea to mess with that before going like any further with it?
I think it's super fun. It's super funny, actually. I was laughing several times. I was starting to kind of imagine, like a resource management kind of game where you're doing a lot of grinding and leveling up and building up like your massive empire over time, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, was thinking like eventually you're almost like gobbling up other organizations or something, like old school organizations. So you get that kind of like Agario, Spore, or Planet of Games have this idea of like slowly taking over with what started out as your accidental studio and building up from there. I didn't include like a treasury at all, but that would be something where like this would get wired to the treasury and then you'd build it out from there.
Right, because and then you're hiring folks or the raid guild workers. So you have a draw on your pool, or drain, I guess. And then you're able to boost up. So there's a lot of like, I mean, potentially it's just like clicky kind of stuff. But it seems like you could get much deeper with like what you produce by who you hire and things like that. That's very cool. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
Yeah, it was just so cool, and I laughed too.
Some lull happening. Yeah, so it seems like there's some interest in people are seeing some. Where do you think you're going to go with it next?
Well, the all the functionality is faked. So if it seems like it's worth pursuing, it would be actually adding in stuff under the hood. So there's like an embedded wallet. There actually is the 8004 stuff and the Pinata stuff, the IPFS stuff, and whatnot, and like the actual agent stuff that actually builds stuff. But everything is faked right now. So next step would be, is it worth actually putting in the real functionality for this?
So how would it, as it being like kind of a game, but also almost like, are you saying that it would be creating real web pages and deploying real things to IPFS and ENS and stuff?
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you really want to overcomplicate it, you could put in like some sort of donation-oriented market where you can donate to the game in the form of making up like little scenarios for people. So you can have a made-up thing that you want people to make, and you just put down, $20 or $100, and then players can kind of go off of little donation bounties or something like that.
All right, cool. Yeah, make a multiplayer. Well, I mean, there could be like situations in a global network, right, where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to outsource some part of this project to a brand new player that can like build these things, and I can find some kind of value recapture or something. That's cool. And also, I appreciated the using Pinata, our partner on this sponsor, to launch it onto their file system. That was cool. All right, awesome.
It wouldn't be possible without them.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it wouldn't be possible. Very cool. Okay, Elko, you want to try now, or are you still munching? Do you do butter side up or butter side down?
Do both sides.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Let's go.
Cool. How do I share? Oh, I've never shared from this computer. I'm going to have to give Discord permissions, and I'm probably going to be kicked out, no?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's find out.
There he goes. Ledger. You look like you look very professional there in your white boardroom.